Well, guys, Outback Pack has been about 4 days out since its release, and I do want to thank you guys for the exceptional reception to it all. We've recently just passed 10,000 views on the trailer, which is incredible to see. That's probably up and coming to be one of my most viewed videos on this channel, and I can't thank you all enough for that. This entire pack has been such a huge passion project from not only me, but also so many other creators in the community. We all worked really, really freaking hard to get this out, to get everything looking nice and chipper. And yeah, we're going to kind of go over it all today. We're going to see what we actually have in here. I will be turning off the guests. I thought it would be kind of cute to have them all in here, but I'm going to turn them off because I don't want them in the way of all this stuff. So I'm just going to speed up time a little bit and get all of these guys out of here so we can just focus on the animals. And while they start to shuffle out, we're going to get started. So, of course, we're going to have this kind of overview be split up between two. We're going to go over the animals first because, hey, who doesn't love the animals? And then we're going to go over all the awesome props, over 300 to get into over there. So let's get started. First of all, we have the Australian sea lion. These guys live on the south coast of Australia, and they are so gorgeous. Narwhaler did such an amazing job with them, and they really are such an awesome addition to the pack because so many people don't really know about Australian sea lions and just how gorgeous they can be. Narwhaler has so many different color variations for these guys. You could see it right over here with the female versus the male right now. The male is looking very gorgeous. He really does look like a lion in some ways. But yeah, that is incredible, and I'm super happy to see that. Also, hold on, let me just check my graphic settings. I want to make sure that I have, yep, anti-aliasing is on because people are giving me crap about it. No harm to you, Hexabit. I think it looks a lot better with it on. But look at these guys. So yeah, they're incredible. Moving on through here, we have another subpopulation of koala. Not subspecies, but subpopulation. This is, of course, the Victorian koala. It's a little bit more of a brown variant of koalas, found around, like, Victoria and stuff. The one in Planet Zoo is, of course, the Queensland koala. Those are your nice, bright, kind of like grayish ones. These guys, however, are a lot more darker, and they're just a really awesome addition to have. They also have these kind of square looking ears, which I think is adorable. And yeah, they're just super awesome little creatures over here. Look at him go. But yeah, I teamed up with Gaboy on this one, and it's just super awesome just to get more koalas in the game. Moving on through here, we also have some wallabies. We also have the swamp wallaby right here. Even though they are named the swamp wallaby, they don't actually spend all their time in swamps. They're called that because of kind of like the musky odor that they give off, which I think is kind of funny. But these guys are super awesome just because of all the color variations that these guys have. They have some grays, some oranges, some blues going on. They even have a little bit of orange on their belly over there. I think that's super awesome. And we also have the Bennett's wallaby. This subspecies of wallaby is only found on the island of Tasmania, and it's just super awesome just because, I don't know, they're just so freaking cool. These guys also have some color variation, so you get some individuals who are a lot more gray, and you can also get some individuals who are a lot more red, which kind of give their other subspecies brethren the name the red-necked wallaby, even though this one is the Bennett's. Moving on throughout here, however, we have our little wombat friends. These guys are some of my favorites, especially with the thing that Inaki and I were able to crack. Let me just see if I can enable animal defecation and see if we can get some fireworks to fly in this amount of time. Now, of course, the wombats are so freaking cute. Unfortunately, the burrowing mechanics, and yep, there we go. They're already getting started on that. Yep, there it goes. I still have not fixed the machine gun poops. I will be doing that soon. But of course, Inaki and I were able to crack the fact that we can actually add new poops to the game. And it's just actually relatively simple. It's only a new line in AXI data, which I know would probably mean nothing to you guys watching at home right now, but it's still super awesome just to have that. Okay, that's it. I'm turning the poop back off. They lost their poop privileges. Okay. But we have two wombats in this pack so far. We have the Southern Hairy-Nosed Wombat, which I believe is one of the... Okay, no, it's the near threatened. It's the northern hairy-nosed wombat that is critically endangered. These guys are super cute. They have these cute little pointed ears, and they are just the cutest little boys. They're based off of the koala, which allows them to walk very much like as they should. I know so many people say, like, oh, you should put it on the badger or something like that so they burrow. I think the movements overall match the wombat so much more. It gives it that little sassy little strut that I love. It really just matches them a lot more, personally, and I kind of like it like that. The common wombat is also here. They have like the cutest little face. While it's not really, I feel like the common wombat could use a little bit of work on it. They're still super adorable nonetheless, and they're just such a nice little addition to the game. But yeah, these are all made by Nick and I, and Jen helped us out with the touch-ups on the common wombat as well, so a huge shout out to her. But making our way throughout here, we have a Rihanna mod. It's been a while since we've actually seen one. This is the Australian brush turkey, and it's just such a beautiful, colorful galliform that's found in Australia. It's just such a standout animal that I'm so happy is in the pack. I always think galliforms are such awesome creatures. They're incredibly beautiful. They have such unique display behaviors and stuff like that. And it's just super awesome just to get these guys in the pack. I have to give a huge shout out to Frazzle as well, who was able to update this mod just in time for the pack's release. And it makes me super happy because these guys are finally in here. And we also have the Numbat. These guys are adorable. Easily one of my favorite Australian animals of all time. They even have their own sign. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but these guys were made by Narwhaler. Incredible job. He always does such an incredible eye for detail in these mods, and he just did an exceptional job with it. I remember right when the Meerkat came out, he made this guy like within the week, and it was just so crazy to see just how fast he was able to work. But incredible job to Narwhaler over there. Really, really astounding Australian animal. And it's just super great to have that in the game. Now moving on to our good friend Vinsabled, we have two mods by him. We have the Northern Cassowary, which is found, I believe, on the island of Papua New Guinea. I should just double check that. Yep, Papua New Guinea. These guys are incredible. Now, you guys may know the Southern Cassowary. They have just a little bit of color on them. Not compared to this guy, though. These guys have all these beautiful colors going on with their kind of wattle and stuff like that. Reds, yellows, blues, teals. These guys are incredible. We also have the Dwarf Cassowary, which is a tiny little bugger. These guys are, of course, aptly named because of their small stature, and they're just super cool. They also don't have that much color on them, which I think really helps to add to a lot more of their uniqueness, if that makes sense. And it's just super awesome just to get these guys, especially. Just being able to flesh out all the Australian wildlife and all the shapes and sizes and colors that it comes in. I really do love to see all that come into play. Now moving on through here, we have a friend from Papua New Guinea as well. Now keep in mind, Outback Pack, while it did start off initially as trying to kind of fill out the Australian roster, I kind of felt like it would be kind of cool to include stuff from around that area as well. I thought it'd be great to also include some Oceania animals as well as New Zealand animals. We're going to have a whole New Zealand expansion once we get there. I hope you guys are excited for that, but it won't be coming for a while. We still have a lot of work to do, especially Outback Pack was in development for a whole year. New Zealand expansion should be done. I don't know. I'm not going to give any dates, but still, let's talk about the Matchy's tree kangaroo. These guys are adorable. These are the most common tree kangaroo species that you'll find in North American zoos. You can probably tell them apart from the rest by their kind of, I guess that's kind of like a burgundy coat. They also have these nice yellow and white splotches and markings all around them. Nick did an incredible job with this model at first. He made it way long ago, back when the koala was originally put out. And they're just super adorable too. I love their movements. Like, look at that little face. He looks so nice. He looks so polite. It's the cutest little thing in the world. Now, moving on through here, we have a few more birds. This one is the Bongo Hardwood Pit. We, of course, have the Brolga, which is a very, how do I put this? Very iconic Australian crane species. Just an incredibly beautiful model. Bongo did an incredible job with this model, especially looking at all the details he was able to cram in here, especially with the face detail. He did such a great job with this animal, and it was just super awesome just to get more Australian wildlife represented, especially in terms of birds. He also did the Magpie Goose, which is an exceptionally common animal, so I've heard down over there. These guys are very common, and you can tell them apart from the rest of the goose by their kind of sharp beak. They also have a little bit of redness going on with that face bit right over there. And the males also have this big hump on their head, which I think is pretty funny. These guys are named the Magpie Goose because they resemble the color variations of magpies, which are a very common kind of bird species over there. And it's just super awesome just to get these guys. I don't know, it's just super, super cool just to get like these, like, how do you describe it? This common Australian quote-unquote pest animal. I know they're not really considered to be pests, but you know, they're just extremely common, especially with the bin chickens. We'll get to see those in a bit. Now over here, we have the Lumholtz's Tree Kangaroo. This mod, it's not one of my favorites. I made this one myself, again, using Nick's Tree Kangaroo as a base. I really do need to go back and redo this one and the Goodfellows, because I'm not really particularly sold on how well the kind of face looks for these guys. Eventually I will be giving these guys a remaster eventually for when the update does come out, but I still do love the texture quality. At least I think that turned out pretty good. But these guys are one of the only tree kangaroos to actually live in Australia. They live around like the northern section of Queensland, which is pretty cool to see. They live around like the tropical rainforest and dry rainforest and whatever you have up there. And they're just such a cute little species. I really do love them. Another thing that I don't really like is that they're supposed to have these long tails, and I forgot to actually add that to them. So eventually I will be going back, dialing back and adding all those small little details that I forgot to add in later down the line. Now moving on through here, I teamed up with Mega Game Interacts to add this little creature. I still gotta figure out what is causing them to not deep dive, but this is of course the little blue penguin. I gotta fix these offsets too, I gotta learn how to do that, but these guys are the cutest little buggers ever. Named aptly so, once again, because of their little size and their blue coloration. These guys are just a really awesome species to have. They live off like the south coast of Australia and New Zealand and Tasmania, and it's just such an incredible animal to have. These guys had my own little heart in the trailer. I really wanted to get like the perfect shot of them running across the beach, and I think I got that. I really hope you guys enjoyed that cute little shot. But these guys are just a really awesome creature to have, especially in the game. I really do hope you guys enjoy them because they're such cute little dudes. Moving on from there, we also have another one by Vince Abel. This is one of my favorite mods by him. This is, of course, the lace monitor. Let's get one that's not completely beat up. Look at all the skin detail on here. Every single splotch on here is hand painted, which I think is an incredible feat by Vince. He has done such a beautiful job at really capturing what makes this species so iconic, and that's the beautiful laces that kind of decorate its entire body. They really are incredible creatures, and Vince has done an incredible job with it. Look at them. Oh my gosh. The only complaint, and this isn't Vince's fault, this is the complaint to Frontier, is that the Nile monitor can't climb trees. I know it'd be such a stupid thing to add. I'm sure people would be like, oh, why didn't you give it deep diving or something like that? I would love for it to climb trees just so that we could see this guy really take his stance up above, because that's where these guys spend most of their lives. They're arboreal creatures, first and foremost. They prey on stuff up there, and it's just super awesome. But still a beautiful animal nonetheless. Super awesome just to throw in like your reptile zoos and stuff. Really awesome creature, Vince. Amazing job, and I'm so happy it's in the pack. Moving on from there, we have one that's incredibly close to my heart. This is, of course, the Greater Bilby. I still need to fix some stuff over here with, like, the normal maps. Maybe I could do that eventually. It is based off of the aardvark, which is why it kind of does look so wrinkly. But I do love these guys so much. These guys are oftentimes associated with Easter down there. They don't have the Easter bunny. They have the Easter Bilby, which I think is the cutest little thing in the world. But yeah, they're just really incredible creatures. Look at them. Oh no, just easily one of my favorites. one of my favorite things about this mod that not too many people know is that the skin texture for this animal, it didn't come from a Bilby. It actually came from a Bilby plushie. And I don't know, I just think that's just a really funny thing to have. Little fun fact over there. But these guys are adorable, so I hope you guys like them. They're one of my favorite Australian, possibly my entire, like, favorite Australian animals. Moving on from here, we also have the Goodfellows tree kangaroo. This species of tree kangaroo is a lot more common in Europe and stuff like that. There's just a really cool creature. Again, I really like the rest of the body, but there's still some things like the tail, there's some things like the face that I really do want to clean up, because I feel like they don't really do the best job at really showcasing the animal all that well, and I do want to go back and remaster this one. But keep in mind, this is the base of Nick, texture of me, and I still really do like just having these guys in the game. I'd rather just have animals in the game than not have them at all. But eventually, I know that eventually later down the line, I can go back and touch these guys up. So that's another important thing to note about that right over there. And moving on from here, we have the freshwater crocodile. These guys are awesome. I think these guys are the biggest animal in the pack. Yes. So these guys are, of course, extremely common in Australia. They're a very iconic species just because of how well their snout is, kind of like rounded and stuff like that. Oftentimes we get like the saltwater crocodile in these exhibits and speed builds and stuff like that. But I can't wait to see you guys start to build for the freshwater crocodile. These guys have been out for quite some time now, but they're still incredible. And you hear that bellowing? That's one of my favorite things ever. They're based off of the alligator, which I think gives them quite a little bit of an advantage when it comes to like all the skin detailing. It's one of the more newer animals from the packs, and they're just really incredible creatures. Look at all those skin variations that they have going on. A little bit more yellow, a little bit more brown. I gotta see if we can get some like grayer ones. I'm not sure if they do come in gray, but I'll do some more research on that later down the line once we actually do like the mega update for this entire pack. But they're really incredible creatures, and I hope you guys enjoyed these guys. Also love the teeth, how they kind of like come out like that. That is super awesome. Now moving on through here, we have an extremely iconic animal. We have the emu, of course. I like the main thing why I wanted to get Outback out as soon as possible was because I'm super worried that we're gonna get an emu in the next pack. And it's not like, oh no, I don't want an emu in the next pack. It's the fact that I really wanted Outback Pack out. It's my own little selfish reason, but I'm super happy it's finally out. I hope you guys enjoy it, especially the emu. Mega Game and Rex, good boy, both did an incredible job on the visuals for this one. They took this mod through the ringer. Originally, it was my own kind of crappy version of it, but they really did help to bring it out to a new light. And it looks super beautiful at that. They really helped nail down what makes this animal so iconic and kind of scary in some regards. Look at those, like, soul-piercing eyes. It's a creepy-looking bugger. But yes, a very iconic animal. We also have the Eastern Grey Kangaroo. Keep in mind, this one was one of my first mods-ish, and I do want to go back and remaster it. It's not one of my favorites. It doesn't really look like the Eastern Grey Kangaroo. It just looks like a gray-red kangaroo. And eventually I do want to fix it up. Eastern Grey Kangaroos are a lot more similar to your wallabies and stuff like that, and wallaroos. I really do want to fix that up just because I want to give this mod the love it deserves. But that'll come, again, in the big update once I do actually get all the fixings done. And we also do have the Australian White Ibis, otherwise known as the bin chicken. Yes, these little guys. Bongo Hardwood did such a beautiful job on this, especially with the face. Like, I really wanted to make note of that in the trailer, just how detailed this face is, because that is frontier quality right there. I don't like to throw that term around willy-nilly, but that face detail really is frontier quality. I really wish we could actually add sounds in the game, because I would just love to have these guys make the normal kind of ibis sounds. I feel like that'd be an incredible thing to have, but they did such an incredible job with this. Bongo, you never cease to amaze me with your birds. But that is it for all the animals. I believe that should be around 20 to 24. I forget the exact number. I apologize, but so many beautiful mods. So many beautiful animals. And that's not even half the pack. In fact, the real bulk of the pack is out here. So let's get started. We have our facilities first and foremost. One of my favorite things that I knew I had to add. Now keep in mind, the Outback pack started as a modification to the Australia pack. I essentially made a duplicate of it, and I started to edit all of the props in there. So a lot of these, you'll notice, are very familiar to your typical Australia pack props, but we'll point those out as we get there, especially with the vending machines that came in that update. Now keep in mind, Nick is planning on removing these. Now, you can still place them in your zoos. He's just going to remove the ability to buy them and see them. So if we have these in this park right here, and then we go into here, you won't see all of these. Unfortunately, we did forget to do the locks on there. That is quite some egg on our face, but keep in mind, if you guys do want these in your parks, I would place them down now before it's too late. But of course, we do have very simple vending machines. Again, some of these don't really make sense for Australia, specifically the Dunkin' Donuts one. I did that one kind of as a joke last year, but the Pepsi one, I did see Mr. Y. Andrews really does like that, so I hope he enjoys that. But these are my favorite things over here. These are the Null things. So I do have the Null Trash Can, so in case if you guys do want to add, like, let's just say a large realistic trash can, you can actually have this be fully functional within your parks. So you can delete these, by the way, Lion, incredible job on that blueprint. But you could essentially have these sit right there, and guests will still use that. I think that's incredible. We also have the Null Bench. This one, if I see the proper bench set, this one is made particularly by Mr. Andrew Wyatt Andrews. I apologize. It's like I'm dyslexic with talking. I don't really know. But the way that you essentially use this is by sinking it slightly into here, and then you can just place it right there. You can always identify where this is by looking down below. You can see like those little rivets right over there, and guests should be able to use that. So that's just another awesome thing that I felt like should be added. And it's just super awesome just to get that in there. I also have this very simple version of the Outback table. Not the Outback, but the Australia table. So if we pop over here, you can see that this one is super stylized. It has all these patterns on it. And while those patterns are beautiful, I didn't think they were necessary for this piece to begin with. So I did take them off manually. And now it's just a very simple bench. It's nothing really too obstructive. And you can use it in repetitiveness without it looking too kind of weird. Now, another thing that I really did love are the food trucks. So we kind of took these models and edited them to be our own by utilizing some of the brands from Planet Coaster. And Planet Zoo, of course. So we have the Cosmic Cow one. So this is an ice cream vending machine right over here. You can pop over here and get your ice cream. We also have the Monsieur Frites. This one is made by Sib CDC, which is very funny because he snuck a little kind of thing in here if we can find it. Yep, he snuck, the Belgian that he is, he snuck mannequin piss over here. So I was very happy to see that. That was just very cheeky over there. And we also have the Mexilente. I know, Mexican food doesn't really go too well with Australia and Outback stuff, but I felt like a food truck would be a fun thing to have in here. So I'm not really sure if we're going to be keeping these items in here. They may make their way to the upcoming General Zoo pack that Nick has planned. So do keep that in mind. So in case if you guys do want to use these, I suggest you guys start using them as soon as possible. Now, making our way throughout here, we also have some foliage. We should probably talk about these first. These are just edited versions of the in-game Australia trees. So if we look up Australia, we should be able to find a lot of these plants. In particular, I have the ghost tree that I essentially turned into a dead tree. Okay, maybe not that one. But I gotta find which ones I did. So essentially the stringy wood eucalyptus trees, I essentially took all of the kind of foliage off of that and made it into dead trees. I felt like these would be super useful, especially for, you know, like your tropical houses and stuff like that. You could do like custom custom leaves on there and stuff like that. And the best thing about that is that the animals will still climb these. These are all completely climbable, which is going to be super awesome just for being able to kind of like create more diverse environments and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for those guys. They're just dead trees. We also have these custom trees by Arizona. He did such a beautiful job with them. This is the whistling pine, of course. Really, really beautiful model. It's super awesome just to see just how gorgeous this tree can be. We also have Sandalwood Trees. We have 3 of them. Just a really versatile tree over here. Really beautiful job on this, Arizona. He used Speed Tree to make these, which is super, super awesome just to see. Always huge props to whoever is able to manipulate those kinds of programs to their own will. I know I never can. Just really awesome just to see that stuff. We also have a whole new set of rocks. And keep in mind, these guys, guess what? They're flexi-color, yes. So you can do some really awesome stuff. Nick kind of discovered this neat little trick over here. In case if you guys do want to use these for like Arctic exhibits, they make the perfect like ice rock for like fake like ice rocks and stuff like that. And you can use them for a whole wide variety of different things. If you guys want to have like a nice tropical house, you can kind of be like, oh, I'm going to have like this nice green overtone. That looks super awesome right there. And you can also do some other things as well. Like in case if you guys want like a molten rock kind of look. I think if you just set it to red and then set the second one to black, you can get some kind of cool looking things over there. But the coolest thing about these is that they work really well with the faux rock set. And it's just super awesome just to see how well they play together. Because, I don't know, while they are different, they do have a lot of similarities in terms of like the models and stuff like that. So in case if you guys do want to build some really cool terrariums, really cool kind of faux rock areas, these guys are going to be perfect for that. And each one has its own smaller counterpart just for kind of decoration's sake. Nick and I have been getting really into building our own aquariums and terrariums recently, and the smaller rocks really help out for that. But in case if you guys are building for some like larger areas, these bigger rocks will really come in handy. So I hope you guys enjoyed those. We also have the wind turbines. Very simple, nothing really too crazy. I just thought they'd be really awesome just for like background pieces. Again, a lot of this pack really did start with me trying to see how I can manipulate the Australia pack to begin with. And you'll see a lot of these carbon copy kind of things. So I took the koala light, for example, if we can find that. Australia light. Yeah, it's essentially just a barbecue. So I essentially kind of just took it and made it into what it's actually supposed to be, a normal-ass barbecue. I took these little fence beams. I removed that kind of unslightly kind of grunge to them, and I made them very simple. I took these wood beams and made them darker, and Nick actually went a step further and made them flexi color. You'll see a lot of that stuff come into play. We also did work on the new font set, so this is really fun. This is the Outback Font Set. The funny thing about this is that we did get this from a font site, and it's supposed to be Fiesta themed, so it's kind of supposed to be more Mexican than anything else, but it really does fit that kind of like Australian aesthetic, so I really do like that. So it's just such an awesome piece. Again, look at this stuff that you can do with it. You can have a whole wide variety of different things in here, and you can just really manipulate these pieces for the better, especially just putting them on top of each other. It's great. We also have the Kangaroo. I unweighted it, so it actually doesn't move. So I'm not sure if anyone would find that useful, but there you go. We also have a boomerang, of course. Really, really essential Australian item to have. I took the Australia map and I made it a topographical map. I thought that'd be super awesome over there, especially with the safari pack. So if we find that one Africa piece, Africa Safari, if we can find that. Yeah, I really wanted it to go alongside this one. I thought that'd be just like super cool just to have these guys together. And yeah, it just looks super awesome. I also have some carpet over here. Nick has some carpet coming in general zoo pack. But in case if you guys do want some carpet right away, you guys already have some right there. We took these logs and swapped their textures, a whole bunch of different things, but let's talk about some of the more unique stuff. We have these beautiful signs over here. The art is mostly by Nick, except for this one. Yeah. That one is by Narwhaler himself. He made a sign for his own animal. I love to see that. So yeah, of course, these guys are 2D modeled and made into 3D modeled, which is really awesome. So you have signs for all these animals. Also, I forgot the Tasmanian devil for some reason. So let's get that guy right in here. Probably Tasmanian devil. I can't believe I forgot that little dude. So let's bring these guys right in here. Hopefully they don't kill whatever I'm gonna put them in with. Yep, tree kangaroo. Alright, no worries. That'll be fine. Another thing that we have in here as well are the cut content. So a while ago we did discover the signs for the Lord Howe Island stick insect and how they were originally planned for the game. And with seeing that, we also had a whole bunch of other signs that were planned to be in the game that were never added. So these were cut out by Za, and they were put in by Nick, and it's just super awesome just to get these guys in the game, because it's like one artist at Frontier probably worked his ass off to make these beautiful signs, and I think it's just honestly very touching that they're finally in the game, and his work finally made it into the game. It's just super awesome. Plus, they're so versatile. Like, I love all the different shapes and sizes of them, especially like this tiny little koala one. I think that's super adorable. But yeah, we finally have these guys in the game. It's just super awesome just to see that. Also, going back to the animal really quick, Tasmanian devil right over here. Not one of my favorite mods out there. It's just super awesome just to have it. But one of my least favorite things about it is the weighting. It is ported from Zoo Tycoon 3 and recolored thanks to Nick. But I really got to go back and fix the weighting. I think that will be kind of like my weighting tutorial, if that makes sense. Because I don't really like how the legs move all that much. It is based off of the Fennec Fox, so do keep that in mind. But it's still just a really awesome animal to have. Plus, it doesn't have its iconic fangs, so I do want to go back and add those in. Plus, look how it sleeps. I don't really like that all too much. But yeah, just a really awesome animal to have nonetheless. But making our way throughout here, we have a whole bunch of other Australian props. Surfboards, of course, because surfing culture is very popular in Australia. We have the didgeridoo. I added a gun over here because oftentimes you'll see like Outback people taking guns with them just because it's very important to protect yourself out there. And I thought it'd be kind of fitting. Plus, we have the Crocodile Dundee knife. I thought that'd be super fun to add. And we also have some derelict cars. Nothing really too crazy. I just thought it'd be super awesome just to have these guys in here. We also do have this one over here, which is recolorable. And it also has my little logo on there. So in case if you guys do want to rep the leaf stir, you guys can. And look at that. I really like that. It's just super cute. Steve Irwin. Australia would not be the same without Steve Irwin, so of course we had to add him in here. So we have some Steve Irwin Funko Pops. A huge shout out to my buddy Trico, who actually scanned these for us, and we kind of 3D modeled them into the game, which I think is super fun. It's super charming. But, of course, these are real branded Funko Pops. And we also have the Steve Irwin for scale. These guys are one of my favorites because they match the same proportions of the in-game staff members and in-game guests of Planet Zoo. So in case if you guys are trying to kind of like set up a scale, kind of like, you know, try and set up an area for scale, try and like get a reference as to how big a building is, plop a Steve right down there. And you know what? It'll help you get a good reference as to how big you're making it. And I think that's super awesome. We also have just a little bit of taxidermy, nothing really too crazy. We have the thylacine, the old one of course, because it's kind of fitting that the old thylacine would be it's kind of like a crappier version of it. And crappy taxidermy is honestly a lot more fitting for extinct animals. And we also have the Saltwater Crocodile taxidermy. Again, these guys are going to be really useful for like scale as well. So in case if you guys are trying to like determine the size of an exhibit for an animal, you pop one of the taxidermy animals down there and you can get a good shape of reference as to how it forms. We also have all these statues, easily some of my favorites. I was able to pose some of these. My good friend G-Rex was able to as well. Nick did a few. And it's just super awesome just to get all of these guys in here because They're also recolorable, which is really awesome. Always love to see recolorability. But we have a whole bunch in here. We have the platypus, we have some emu statues, we have the little blue penguin, which you could easily sub out for the African penguins or even banded penguins and stuff like that. We have the Tasmanian devil statues. We have a whole bunch of saltwater crocodile statues. These guys are some of my favorites. Look at this dude right here. He's sleeping. We have one that's in like a fight stance over here. I thought that was super awesome just to have. And that's kind of how you're supposed to do it. I don't think that's clipping. It's not clipping too bad, but of course, you know, they kind of have to support each other. We do have the koala, so you could kind of put that guy on a tree. I did include the kiwis in here, and you may notice that we did not have the kiwis in the animal showcase. That's because they're going to be coming in the New Zealand update again. And I'll have a lot more kiwi kind of like scenery once we actually do get to that. But I did want to kind of throw these guys in here as a little bit of like a sneak peek. Kind of like how, you know, some games drop hints as to what may be coming next in terms of DLC. So that's why I kind of include those guys right there. We also have the kangaroos, just nothing really too crazy, very versatile poses, if that makes sense. We have this one where it's like kind of kicking the other kangaroo. I thought that was kind of fun. Amazing job to G-Rex on that one over there. And we also have some other building set items. We have this flexicolor one. We actually brought this in from Planet Coaster in case if you guys are some veterans of that game. So it's just super fun just to get like these pieces in here. Just because, I don't know, like, why don't we have these in the game? Why not? I feel like that'd be a great thing to have. But we also have the kind of normal version of it over here as it's supposed to be seen. You can see that they kind of have like this kind of grunge happening in between those grooves. I think that's pretty cool. And we also have the last building sets over here. Flexicolor pieces as well. These guys are just Outback wood. And we also have Outback horizontal wood throughout here. You can get some really cool kind of colors and kind of shading on throughout here. Looks kind of like the Arctic pack when you kind of do it like that. It'd be probably pretty cool to mix it in with there. And we also have just a normal ass kind of version of it. Nice and bright, which I think works pretty well. But that is it for the entire Outback showcase. I want to thank you guys so much for your support for the entire rollout of this pack. We're going to end it. Oh, hold on. Forgot. We also have Null Signs. We also have Null Signs. So in case you guys do want to have like signage on top of a glass wall, I remember I did this for like my cougar exhibit. You can just have it be right over here. And it is a little difficult. So in case if you do like, if you look up Null Sign and place a bunch of them, you got to be careful with that. Because those are the props that may kind of break your game if you guys aren't careful with that. So you always got to make sure once you place it, put some text on it, and then make sure you don't forget about it. That's very important to have. But that's about it for our entire showcase. I want to thank you guys so much for your support. You guys are great. Make sure to go check out the Outback pack, both the prop pack and the animal pack. We both put a lot of work into it. We all put a lot of work into it. The entire Planet and Zoom modding community. And I do want to thank you guys so much once again for your constant support. I hope you guys enjoyed this really awesome pack. I have a very special video coming out tomorrow in terms of the music for Outback Pack. I had a very special cut done thanks to Tony. Really incredible composer, so be sure to keep a lookout for that one. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys did enjoy it, of course, I always do appreciate any like, any comment, maybe even a share. If you can, just share it with your friends. Just show off what's in this pack. And yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. I really do hope you guys have the most wonderful of wonderful days. And yeah, hope you guys have a great one. Bye.